Good evening. Today we will continue to develop our calculator application, and we will finish the layout discussion, and for the next video we will start working on the logic itself for our calculator to be able to calculate. But let's come back to the layout and complete a few more steps. So let me share my screen. And of course, once again, we use the PyCharm. As we discussed the last time, we open our project. It's the same file. We have calculator.py. So the last time, just a quick review, of course, we did create a window, the title, the entry form. For now, we just have a return because we will discuss the logic when it comes to adding for the next time. But more importantly, the last time we created the layout for our buttons. As you can see, we had from 0 through 9 plus 0. And for now, we only have a command. Also, we will leave it for logic. It's all about layout. And let's continue discussing how we work through this. So also just to make sure the last time, if we run the application, our calculator, and this is what we will cover today as well, we had some spaces. So in order to avoid the spaces and have all the buttons one close to each other, we have to verify the span, the column span. So we had three, of course, for buttons as well. We want to make sure, of course, the button we will create in a moment. We will talk about three new buttons today: the plus button, the equal and clear, and the colors. So we can have such a background. So let's do this. Let's go back to, this is our part 2. I separated from part 1 what we will cover today. So if we go back and run it, as you can see, this is what we got so far. And actually, let's remove this one as well for now. So file, save, run. Oh, sometimes we may get such a sound if we run it too fast. This is what we had so far. And of course, we did use the column span to make sure everything is adjusted correctly. So we certainly need the add button and the equal and clear. So let's do this. So it's the same principle, the same idea. So let's copy. Sorry. So let's do this. So let's copy this one of the buttons on the part 2. We have to add a name. So let's call it add. The same idea. We have to add declared. It's a root. The text, of course, it's a plus. Now, because of this text in terms of pixels, we should take one less, and we leave it for now like this. Now, we did create it. Now let's remember, we also have to worry about the layout of our buttons. So let's do the same. We copy and paste, right? So remember we have our add button, okay? And where we would like our button to be. So remember we got a column 0, we got a 1, 2, 3, and column 0, 1, 2. So if I have my column 0 for add, the next one for 0, which is here, if I want the next one to be, it should be column 1. So let's see if it will work. And it's still the same row, So we click File, we click Save, and we run. And now we got the add. So we got the same row, but this is column 0, this is column 1. Okay, so we got our plus sign. So now we just worry about layout for our calculator. Let's do the next one. Of course, we need also the equal sign. Let's create the equal sign. Button. Actually, let's do the same order to make it easier. So let's copy and paste to make it to save some time. But the name for this one, instead of button add, we call it equal. Well, let's put the sign equal. Let's keep the same pet x for 39 and the same y and the same command for now. Just leave it like this. And the same we have to do for our layout. We have to do layout. So to save some time, we can do the same. If it's the same idea, we put equal. Now remember we had 0 for column 1, 1 for plus, for add. So this one should be 2. Okay. So we click File, we click Save, we run. Okay, so now we got our equal sign. We got plus, we got equal, we got our numbers. Okay, now how about clear? Now, if I'll create clear, I still have some space. How about have a clear all the way from left to right? Like a nice large clear button. How about this? It's one of, because when we create an application, we have to work on design. And how about, let's say we already did the design, we decided that for this application we have such a button. One of the requirements of the user, or it's called user requirements, to have such a button. And they just would like to have such a huge button. So let's do this. So no extra space. So we go back to part 2 where we create new buttons. And let's call this button clear. We call it clear. We put the text clear. For the paddings, how about 125? I believe it's the closest in terms of pixels we can get. So we did create our button here, okay? Actually, we can do, yeah. So let's do this. We created such a button, but we need to worry about layout. So yeah, so the same process. We go here and let's put clear, but this time it's row 5, starts at 0, and column span, it spans all the way up to 3 columns. Column span 3. Okay, so let's see, we click File, we click Save, we click Run. And look at this. So our application has a clear, just like the other buttons, not functional, but it's a huge clear button. So we got a 2 plus 3 equals, then clear. This is how it will be working once we'll get to the logic section. But so far we got buttons. How about adding some color on each button? Now, in order for us to add a color, there is a what we call hexadecimal code. So because we don't have, we sometimes we need to have a specific color, maybe sometimes maybe light or dark, not always just the red, orange, or green. So actually, if we Google or we use specific, of course, reliable document, we want to make sure we have this hexadecimal code. If we put this code, it will exactly match the color. So for instance, if you Google and look for, you need the hexadecimal code for aqua, this is the code. So what you can do, you can just copy aqua. And let me go back here. And let's say we want this color to be, let's check on the first button. So remember, it's a BG, just like we did for other widgets. Remember, we had our label, we had our text box and button. It's the same idea. And here we put the code, which is #00FFFF. We click File, we click Save, we run, and look, we got a nice looking aqua. Now, if we want this, of course, to have on all the buttons, of course, as you can see, all we have to do is just copy and paste on all the buttons. So we do it here. How about here? Of course, when we do this, you want to pay attention to syntax. Right here. Right here. And then, of course, how about this one? The button 8 for the number 8, the number 9, 0, and of course, the new buttons we created today. It's the add button, the equal button, and of course, the clear. We click File, we click Save, and we run. And look at this. We got a nice looking calculator. We got all these buttons. When I click, it's easier to see. We got this display. I think it looks okay. I think when it comes to this form, it's nice to have as clear as possible for the entry. Because if you start putting all these colors, it's not always visible sometimes, but of course we can add any color we like, just like we did here. But so far, I think we got a layout. We're ready for next section, really to start working on the logic. And this is the next video. Thank you so much.